Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 54. Let's jump into things with a little bit of research. Hell yeah, research. Conjuration 20. Conjuration 20. God damn it. It's 20 seconds in. Conjuration 6 done on turn 54. Weef. Two more ranks in Conjuration to get to our goal of Well of Misery. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that all turns out. We did a little bit of site searching. Dark Knowledge found nothing. Auspex found nothing. Augury found nothing. Arcane Probing found nothing. Voice of Apsu found nothing. Dark Knowledge found nothing. Gnome Lore found nothing. Dark Knowledge found nothing. Haruspex found nothing. Auspex found nothing. That's not great. Aha! We find a wellspring of secrets. That is just a water gem 1, or water 1 location. So we got site searching for the turn, water +1 per turn. So not the greatest result, but I mean, I've had plenty of turns where I do a shit ton of site searching and get nothing out of it. So at the end of the day, I would rather get 1 gem per turn than no gems per turn, so we'll fucking take it. We have another couple little battles here or there to go through. We'll do our single battle first in the Forgotten Woods. We sent in a Huron Priest and a stack of Hatan Runa, mostly just to harry this monolith and keep it from continuously regenerating its gems. I expect this to end up with a bunch of dead Hatan Runa, which we don't care about, and hopefully a live Huron Priest that walks away, maybe after having killed a couple Watchers, but most likely it just routes because of this. And the armies of Nazca are routed. So, yeah. So this guy back here gets to finish his Iron Skin and then does nothing. Okay. Fair enough. Did he successfully retreat? Yes, he successfully retreated. Okay, sure. Fair enough. We killed the remaining Deer Tribe. Alright, whatever. Did we manage to actually burn the gems off of that monolith is the question. He did a Strength of Gaia. He did a Blade Wind. Doesn't look like it actually. Oh, yeah, there we go. He summoned a Lesser Earth Elemental. I say that. He gets a... Fuck. No. The answer to that question is no, because he only used the Temp Gem from the Bloodstone. He didn't use anything else. Okay, well, whatever. Shit happens, you know? It is what it is. Honestly, at this point, I'm going to have to do way more for Forgotten Woods than I was hoping to do. I think we're going to try to really, like, soup up a unkillable God King, potentially with Berserk on it, and go from there. We'll see how it goes. Battles for the turn versus Indies, 0 wins, 1 loss. The Indies are tired of messing with us. They're going to put us down. Argo versus Pelagia. So, a couple of different... in the Coast Guard, there have been a bunch of discussions on, Pelagia now has 2 thrones that they have taken. Get your thrones on lock, and everyone who is adjacent to these thrones start dealing with it. Do not let Pelagia get a foothold. Has kind of been the general mentality. So Arco, the Arco player, has been like, all right, let's come up, fam. And we've seen the Demi-Lich in action. So this is a... What is this? This is a Muse and a Astrologer. So what are they doing? There's a bunch of people here. This is an actual army. But what is Arco trying to accomplish? We've got a Twist Fate. We've got a Summon Water Elemental. Okay. I'm assuming the water elementals are just for distraction. Personal luck. Another water elemental. Body ethereal. Okay, so we've got a foul vapors out from the side of Pelagia. Oh, no. Twist fate. We had luck. We had body ethereal. Oh, returning. Okay. This might have just been a gem bait, right? It might have been that both of these casters were supposed to returning. Unfortunately, looks like one of them got soul slayed, so that sucks. But if this was intended to be a gem burn, then looks like it did that job well. We have a Grip of Winter that came out. We've got a Foul Vapors that came out. We've got a bunch of Earth Elementals that came out. There are still gems on at least one of these casters. This Pearl Mage back here with these Nature Gems. But for the most part, that looks like that was a successful gem bait. So here's, I'm assuming, an actual attack. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's an actual army coming in strong. Okay, holy fuck. Yeah, we've got some green lions in the wings. We got a bunch of different stacks of hoplites, right? One out in front, two flanking forces, a heart companion heart, which is neat. We've got some fanatic deep ones on the side, and we just got a shit ton of mages here. Now, we've seen this get gem baited already. What is going to be happening? Communion going up over here? Big communion. Mass protection comes out. Frostfin comes out. Serpent's blessing comes out. Serpent's blessing, I'm assuming, on the side of Arco. We've got a bunch of green lions firing off their stuff. We got mass regeneration. We've got power of the spheres coming out. We've got weapons of sharpness. Fog warriors. Holy shit. We are at the point to where it's not just one battlefield enchantment that comes out in these anymore. It's not like this foul vapors is gonna, this fog warriors, this mass flight. No, it's like all of these things every single time, right? Bunch of weapons of sharpness. That's actually really scary. These hoplites with weapons of sharpness, or these, more specifically, these heart companions with weapons of sharpness. Pretty scary. Will of the Fates, Serpent's Blessing, we've got Mass Protection, we've got Fog Warriors, we've got Mass Regeneration. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, that was Mass Flight. Oh. Well, that's done. That's real done. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's real over. Ay ay ay. Alrighty then. Well, that is a very commanding win for Arco Cephale. Basically wipes out this pretty, that's a investment from the side of Pelagia, right? Loses almost nothing for it. So, pretty cool. Very, very neat battle. And then we have Ulm attacking into the fortification of Ashdod with their whole army. There is not much here. We got a relief coming out. We got an earthquake. Wow. Christ. So many freaking iron blizzards coming out there. Lost a Mastersmith. Lost just a couple of things. No big deal. Yeah. And that is that. Very cool. We got... Oh, we don't have any battles. We already covered our battles. We'll cover the other little part here in a second. That's some fun stuff. Fun battles for the turn. Unexpected events. We got fire gems in Set Randeth. We got series of unfortunate events have redirected important trade routes to other lands, so we lose income in Thornwoods. Seafarers have found a new port of call with lucrative trade, so we gain income in Omia. And then there is an arena battle, and no one participated, so our werewolf automatically wins. What the fuck? Oh, and we got the champion's helmet. That's actually pretty neat. We'll check that out here in a second. So, events for the turn: 1 negative, 2 positive. In Thornwoods, income -10. In Omia, income +15, so net gain. And then we got 1 fire gem, so cool. And then, of course, the last kind of like thing of the turn is Densavar, god of Ashtod, has been permanently vanquished. At the end, he did not rule a single province, and he now has nowhere. So, that is the end for Ashtod. Finally, they have been on their capital for it feels like 20 turns or so. Like, it's been a long time. Way longer than my situation. So it would have been really cool to see if see them actually win that Sally last turn, but unfortunately not for them. So in that situation happening, our werewolf has become a hero. So we have gained Iron Will on our werewolf, which is funny. Gives us a bit of magic resistance, which is actually pretty good. And we get the Champion's Helmet, which gives us increased morale, awe, inspirational, luck, and quickness. This, and it's cursed, so we can't get rid of it. This is actually, like, this helmet is actually a solid-ass helmet, right? So some of the shit you get from the arena is kind of meh. This thing, I think, is actually one of the really, really cool things. So yeah, that's neat. What are we doing this turn? We've got a couple of very basic movements. Primarily, we are sending a stack of Hatan Runa at just a die in Forgotten Woods. Again, kind of trying to burn off gems and seeing if that'll work. Also, though, and this is gonna be a bit of a weird thing. Especially considering we're continuing to recruit. This is kind of stupid, honestly, because we're continuing to capture Hatan Runa, which is burning down Miratrand, right? Which is bad. But one of the other reasons why I'm willingly suiciding Hatan Runa stacks into Forgotten Woods at this point is because some people have been fear-mongering here lately that my army size is getting up there, which I'm like, yeah, but they're just silly, crappy units, right? And partially some of that is because of the Hatan Runa. Actually, though, most of that is now becoming the Long Dead that we're summoning. Right, so I'm kind of intentionally killing off Hatan Runa to keep our army graph from growing as quickly as it otherwise would. But again, in doing this, I'm just sacrificing units and burning down a province for no reason, right? So I shouldn't be doing this. I realize that I shouldn't be doing this. It's just I'm doing it out of force of habit and laziness. So we're continuing to capture and then just kill the units. Don't worry, I don't do this for very long because it's stupid. And we come up with other smarter ideas on how to handle our situation. So, yeah. Suiciding a force into Forgotten Woods. moving forces into Satrandith, again, to continue onwards with this particular situation. Adding in more units to the training pile. I haven't actually finished this. So what I do is I start to pull people out, right? And each turn I start to keep a track of, did we lose anyone? But we didn't lose anyone between this turn and last turn, right? Is basically the scenario. Is I'm trying to keep track of whose HP is dwindling down, right? Who do we actually lose? We haven't lost anyone from last turn to this turn. So there's that. And unfortunately, that's really kind of it. We've got other stuff to talk about, but I will talk about it towards the end of the video. We're going to go through actual mechanical things now. So, mechanics, buildings for the turn, 1 fortress in Neefel. So we're putting up a fortress in Neefel. We knew this was coming up. Basically, we are taking advantage of the long non-aggression pact we have with Vanheim to try to fortify our border and go from there. We're going to try to have this fortress right next to this throne province, because I'm pretty sure this throne province is the throne of life, and that would be really, really nice for us. So, fingers crossed. We'll see. Other stuff we have going on. We have recruitment for the turn. We have 1 Malqui priest. We have this hurts. We have 2 Pakwo of the mountains. We have 1 Akla, and we have 1 Hydromancer. So this is one of those very, very rare turns, and I'm not sure I actually really agree with it, where we're not recruiting anything out of our capital because I really needed the other things. 2 Pakwos of the mountain spirits are to catch up with this issue. We need way more than... We only have 3 Pakwos here, so we're only curing 3 diseases. We are going to start losing people. I would rather not lose people. 5 actually does potentially keep us from losing people. We'll see how that goes. We might go up to 6 or 7, and I have a plan for what we're going to use these Pakwo of the Mountain Spirits for in the near future, but we'll talk about those after we get to that point. And then we needed more stuff. I want to continue to recruit Hydromancers every single turn, or every single chance we get. And it just ended up being a scenario where we couldn't afford to put up this fortress, as well as recruit the lightless lantern bearer that we needed, etc., etc. And I was just like, fuck it, we're just skipping out on capital recruitment for the turn. I don't know if that was a smart idea. I don't know. I don't like it, right? I'm not super happy about it, but it is what it is. So, what else do we have going on? We have Nazca recruits for the turn. We did 76 Hatenruna this turn, which is absurd. We did 77 Long Dead Warriors. We did 8 Supayas. Or that's not true. We're doing 8 Supayas. That'll be next turn. We did 6 Supayas this turn. And then we're doing 1 Summon Huaka for 7 Huakas. So we got that whole situation going on. And this is, I think, doing okay, right? Like, again, still quite behind where we would want to be if it was turn 54 and we were having a really good game. But since we're playing catch-up, I'm relatively happy with where we are at right now in regards to that catch-up, right? We are going to start getting more Supayas every turn. We have another Royal Malqui that we are going to start doing more Supayas with, etc., etc. So we'll see how that goes. What else do we got? We've got 1 more Dire Wolf coming out this turn. And next turn, we're going to be able to add Dust Walkers to this, because we are entering the site for the Dust Walkers, the Tower of 7 Tombs. So that'll be pretty neat. We'll see how that goes. not supposed to search. We're supposed to enter the site. I don't know why I care about it. We've already done this turn. And then we've got rituals for the turn. Again, all these rituals are site searching. We've got 1 augury, 2 auspex, 3 voice of Apsu, 2 gnome lore, 1 arcane probing, 3 dark knowledge, and 1 haruspex. Jot that down. Nothing surprising there. We are getting close to being done with dark knowledge. We got 1. Nope, that was Nazca. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we've got this turn. After this turn, I think we will have 1 more location. Oh no, that's not true. We have no. These are scouts. We have 1 more location after this turn that we will need to have site searched. Even those locations, I'm not expecting to get anything new, because even those locations are, they're already site searched. They're just site searched as a 2. So we'll see how that goes, but fingers crossed that we find some super mega awesome site missing in that. Baral actually does not have... Really? Oh, we are site searching Baral this turn, so my bad. We have 5 locations, Baral being the last one that wasn't site searched at all. No, Austin Glen hasn't been site. I'm totally off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 locations. So we have probably 2 more turns after this of us finishing up Dark Knowledge site searching. But we're getting pretty close, right? So that's nice. Forging for the turn. Forging, we are doing 1 Lightless Lantern, 1 Thistle Mace, actually, 1 Scutata Volturnus, and 1 Starshine Skullcap. So, what is going on here? Thistle Mace is actually pretty simple. 1, we want more Thistle Maces because we want more boosters for nature. Nature is going to be very useful for us from a battlefield enchantment kind of scenario, so we just need more of that regardless. And while we are waiting to get into some big battles, a Thistle Mace thrown onto some Paco of the Mountain Spirits allows us to do some Haruspexing. So we want more Haruspexes to go out so we can finish out our nature site searching as well, so we're probably going to make a couple of those. Starshine Skullcap also allows that kind of situation with the same type of scenario, right? Like we can throw a Starshine Skullcap on to... Actually, we don't need Starshine Skullcaps for that reason, so never mind, I take that back. Astral 1 can site search, so we're just making Starshine Skullcaps because we need to be able to boost in Astral. In point of fact, we might actually start doing some stuff with our Frostfather, with our god, and we have no Astral boosters right now, right? So we've got 210 pearls, we've got Construction 6, we might make some Rings of Wizardry, right? Potentially. That's an option. That would actually be able to get us good boosters across the board on a lot of different people to crack into certain things. So we might do that. Or I might just turn around and I might make like a Ring of Sorcery. Might make a Crystal Coin, Starshine Skullcap, and then all of a sudden this Frostfather is Astral 9, and we could do things like Wishing or Arcane Nexus, but I don't know if we want to go for that. If we were going to go for that, I would want to stop summoning Huacas basically right now, because we could then start to accrue a large amount of Astral Pearls for that, but I'm not sure that's the plan that we actually ultimately want, so we'll have to see. Fingers crossed there. And then the Scutata Volturnus is actually part of the plan for Forgotten Woods. I think we might be gearing up our werewolf to go ham, like put a Scutata Volturnus on him, put a Copper Plate on him, put a Smasher on him, and then let him just go obliterate what is going on there. We could put an amulet of anti-magic on him, and he would actually have pretty decent MR. And we could even do something like throw another anti-magic up in the battle so that he has even better MR. That type of scenario. So we're actually sending him over to Satrandeth. He's going to sit there for the next couple turns to try to get healed by Mama Pacha, because he does actually have a weakened affliction, which is somewhat annoying, but it's not a super big deal. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Other things to talk about this turn. Okay, this is the big deal. So we skipped that kind of like midsection where we talk about the greater wide world, and that's because diplomacy. We have ended our nap with Vanheim. That is the big thing for this turn. So this is it's going to take a while, but because we have a 6-turn nap with Vanheim, so on turn 60 we will be able to launch attacks. We are coordinating with Ulm. They are going to be attacking from the south, and they're going to be marching the Ulmish. They're going to be attacking from multiple directions. They're going to be attacking from the south. They're going to be attacking from the north, right? Into probably Jotunheim lands, or previously Jotunheim lands, because we don't expect Jotunheim to last 6 more turns, especially since we've basically had to make a public announcement, right? Like in ending my nap, right? Vans understands that they are now on a turn timer, right? Like they're on a countdown. So now it's like, oh, okay. Well, now we have to just burn Jotunheim down so that it's not a 3v1, right? So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, Ulm's also moved towards Blackport. They have a pretty large stack here in the Caves of Mira that they're going to be going towards in Blackport. We'll see how that goes. Pelagia has actually been suffering a couple of interesting losses against Arcocephale, so if Ulm is able to take Blackport away from them, that could be a pretty interesting situation. So we'll see how that goes. What else do we got happening? We got some outgoing trade. So, outgoing trade, we are sending Arcocephale 10 water gems. We talked about this last turn. We're kind of hard up for fire. So, we're just making a simple trade to Arco for some fire gems so that we can make things like Huaka headdresses. Shit like that. So, that is pretty much it. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, we are expecting gems from someone, right? Ulm, probably not Jotunheim. I haven't really talked about this in any of the videos. This is something that's been on the docket for a while now, and I just have not discussed. But we are potentially going to be dispelling, or trying to dispel Gift of Health as we march into Vanheim territory. So we should be getting some, I expect that we will probably be getting some Astral Pearls from Ulm. Now, I would prefer to wait, right, and try to sync up this Dispel to where I can Dispel Gift of Health, and then I can try to throw up the next turn Well of Misery. So we are a couple turns off of that. We will have Conjuration 6 in probably 3 turns, and I don't expect us to have, or we'll have Conjuration 7 in 3 turns, I think, and I don't expect us to have Conjuration 8 3 turns after that. So we're probably not going to be in time for that, so we're probably just going to have to pull the trigger early on Dispelling Gift of Health, but we don't want to fight into Vanheim in the Gift of Health. We're also talking to Arco to potentially be involved in this situation, though they are still kind of like in this weird war with Vanna Roos. And Naba is still around. I think actually, so I talked about this last turn, I think, that I I can't really remember exactly when this happens, but we are getting close to this point. It's within the next couple of turns that I believe the Arcocephali player has to kind of step out of the game because of life situations, no hard feelings or anything like that. It's just unfortunate because they've been doing a very, very good job. So we have a new player that's stepping in, and I can't remember the exact turn that is happening in. And then, since we're kind of on that topic, that actually also happens with the Pelagia player in the next couple turns, right? So we have this kind of like upheaval of the status quo going on in the game, which is kind of a really interesting situation and potentially might lead to us making some decisions. We'll see how that goes. But we're still very much locked into our trajectory for the long haul, for the foreseeable future, for the next 6 turns at least, right? The idea of if we can get some of the things that we need done in the next 6 turns, and we can fight Vanheim. I say we fight Vanheim, but mostly I mean Ulm fight Vanheim, and we try to annoy Vanheim while Ulm fights him. Then maybe there is a situation that can develop. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be open and honest about this, right? If we fight Vanheim with Ulm and we win, right? That means Ulm wins, right? The game's probably over, because at that point, Ulm is probably going to be big enough, right? Say this is Ulm, right? Ulm is going to be big enough and at basically a power spike in the game, although 60 is starting to push that scenario, where it's going to be, we've seen their research, right? Like, they basically have everything. We will not be able to fight them, right? So it will probably be pretty difficult for people to deal with them if we get to that scenario where we fight Vanheim with Ulm and the 2 of us beat Vanheim. Then Ulm will probably win. And then, right, like, obviously, if we fight Vanheim and Vanheim wins, right, then Vanheim is probably untouchable at that point, right? This is a horribly sticky situation for me. Because I think this is still too soon. I think turn 60, we're not even going to have Conjuration 8, which is where we put up Well of Misery. Much less Alt 7 or Construction 7 or Enchantment 8 or Thaumaturgy 5 or 6, depending on what we're going for, right? Like, we're still not there. We still haven't caught up. And in point of fact, right, like, we're doing the really greedy thing where we go up Conjuration and try to get Well of Misery, and that doesn't give us shit to fight against Vanheim, right? That doesn't give us anything like Fog Warriors or, mass regeneration or mass protection. Never, not even think about like something like Army of Lead or something. Like, we are so not ready to fight Vanheim. But Ulma's ready to fight Vanheim. So it's this situation of like, if we sit and let Ulm fight against Vanheim, it's the possibility that Ulm and Vanheim just duke it out with each other, and ultimately one of them wins, and whichever one of them wins probably wins the game, right? Depending on situations, because again, we have a new Arco player coming in, we have a new Pelagia player coming in, who knows what's going to happen there. But it's kind of it's a very weird situation to be in, to be a part of the whole scenario, to have this long-term ally in Ulm, and I don't want to just be like, nah, fuck it, Ulm, I'm not gonna back you in this play, right? Because if I back you and we win, you win, right? So I'm basically I am going to hold my agreement with Ulm, which sounds weird after the betrayal, right after the great betrayal. But ultimately, I think the Great Betrayal was only a great betrayal towards Jotunheim, right? Like, originally, I will admit, right? Like, I thought I was betraying Ulm, but I thought Ulm and Jotunheim were going to succeed, right? But then Ulm also didn't engage, so we basically both made the same decision without consulting each other, and now we're back to that kind of square root of it's like, oh, okay, well, this does have to be dealt with. Let's do something, right? So we'll see how it actually turns out, because ultimately it's probably going to be bad for us. And at the end of the day, like I said, turn 60 I think is too soon, right? I think we need turn 70, turn 80, depending on what we're trying to accomplish. And it's gonna be fingers crossed. So that, I think, is probably going to be the end of this video. Looking forward to seeing how things turn out over the course of the next several turns. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.